In this video, I'm going to be explaining what the setup costs are to buying your first HMO property, and also what the ongoing management maintenance costs look like and how much profit you can be expected to have at the end of every single month. My name is Samuel Leeds and I am the author of the best-selling Amazon book, Buy Low, Rent High. How much do you need to buy an HMO property? Well, of course it can vary massively. It can go from very high to very, very low. You can buy properties without using any money at all, using things like lease option agreements, raising finance, doing a joint venture. But in this video, I'm going to be explaining what the typical costs would be for a traditional HMO property that you bought with your own money. So firstly, how much do you need to get started to put into the deal? We're going to work on the basis of a 25% deposit. You can do it for less, but then your interest rates will be higher. So 25% deposit, typically our HMOs are around about £100,000 as a starting point for a 4-bed HMO. So that will be £25,000 straight away for your deposit. So if you haven't got £25,000, you might need to think creatively. On top of your deposit, you've also got your legal fees. Now this can vary, but your solicitor fees, your stamp duty fees, it can just really vary. But it shouldn't be more than a few £1,000s. You're also going to need refurb costs. Now we don't buy properties that need a big refurb. We don't put en suites in all the rooms. What we do instead is we furnish them and make them look amazing that way, and we buy properties that are already in really good condition. What does it cost to furnish a property and get a HMO ready? Well, you're going to need probably fire doors, smoke alarms and furniture, and maybe a lick of paint. And you can typically budget for that around about £7,000, which brings us to £32,000 plus legal fees. So on average, how much will it cost? I'd say about £35,000 as a good starting point. Next question, how much return are you going to get back? You're investing £35,000, what are you going to get back? Well, let me say one thing to start with. If you put £35,000 in the bank, your return would be next to nothing and your money would be shrinking. If you put it into a normal house, you might get around 10 to 15% return on investment. The way that we do things, we look to get at least 20%, but usually closer to 30% return on investment. What's the breakdown of that and what does that look like? Well, your rent is going to be on average, and it will vary from house to house, but a good starting point will be £350 per month per room, which will leave you with a total monthly rent of £1,400. Of that £1,400, you are going to have expenses. It's not all yours to keep, because of course you're going to have to pay the mortgage payments, which might be around about £200 a month. You're going to have to pay the bills, which is gas, electric, broadband, council tax, water, and that on a 4-bedroom HMO typically comes down to around about £300 a month. And finally, you're going to have to pay somebody to manage the property, find you tenants, and take complete responsibility and control of the property. You can do this yourself, but that's a lot of hard work. So I would recommend using a property manager. We can recommend people to you. In fact, whenever we pass a house on, we always make sure that we have a power team lined up. So how much will that cost? We pay 12% of the rent, which will be £168 per month. However, you've got to round that up because they will also charge you finder's fees, referencing fees for the tenants. So we say about £200 a month will have to go towards the management company. Let's bring this all together. Management company, £200. Mortgage payments, probably about £200. Bills, £300, which together brings a total of £700 profit and £700 expenses, which is half the rent is going to you, half the rent is going to expenses, and that is our rule of thumb whenever you're buying a HMO. If it's a 5-bed or a 6-bed and the rent's a lot more, the rent might be £2,000 a month, but we would always say half of that expect to go towards expenses. Let's do the math. £700 a month is £8,400 per year. You invested £35,000. That will bring you a grand total investment of 24% per annum, which means that after 4 years, you've got your money completely back and you've got your equity trapped in the property, and of course, you've got your capital appreciation as well. I always recommend doing HMOs alongside lease option agreements and no money down deals. Recycle your rent, reinvest it, and be creative and secure properties with no money. If you do these two together, there's no reason why anybody couldn't be financially independent within 12 months or less. If you found this video helpful and you want to know more about HMOs and get to see exactly how we do things, subscribe to this channel, and also don't forget to get a copy of this book. In the link below, you'll be able to get this for free. So enjoy, hope to see you soon, and God bless you.